You're watching ABC7 News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Jacqueline Matter. Thanks for joining us. Topping our news tonight, President Trump has touched down in Florida, paying his respects to Parkland after Wednesday's mass shooting. That shooting leaving 17 people dead, many of them teenage students. As ABC's Maggie Rulli reports, his visit comes amid questions about the FBI's response to warnings that they received about the alleged shooter weeks before his attack.
The president and first lady are grieving with Parkland this Friday night.
Very sad something like that could happen.
Offering their support to a community still raw after Wednesday's school shooting took the lives of 17 people. Two of them, both teenagers, laid to rest today.
What if that was your child that was shot 3 times in the heart, in the head, in the hand? Think about it.
Their alleged killer now offering to plead guilty in order to avoid the death penalty. No word yet if the state will accept the deal.
We are part of this community. As this community hurts, so do we.
The FBI has now admitted they were warned about the alleged shooter 6 weeks ago. The agency reveals that on January 5th, a person close to Nicholas Cruz called the FBI tip line with information about Cruz's gun ownership, his desire to kill people, erratic behavior, and disturbing social media posts. And this, the potential of him conducting a school shooting. The FBI says the information should have been assessed as a potential threat to life, but no further investigation was conducted at that time. Students here are in shock.
17 innocent lives were taken from us because they failed to do this. They failed our school and they failed Parkland.
The students here are heartbroken and grieving, but many of them are also angry and have taken to the streets to protest for stricter gun control. The president was asked during his visit about gun laws, and he had no comment. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, Parkland, Florida.
Okay, thank you so much, Maggie. In response to this terrible tragedy, Florida's Parent-Teacher Association is holding multiple vigils for the shooting victims at locations across the state on Monday at 7 p.m. So far, 6 locations have been announced, the closest in Tampa at Curtis Hickson Park. Now, when students return to class on Monday, they may notice increased security here on the Sun Coast. That's following a threat found at Manatee High School. Bradenton police say a student found a note on Thursday at the school threatening violence, indicating that a shooting could occur on campus Thursday, February 22nd at 12:15. Police are actively pursuing any leads and are taking proactive measures at Manatee High and all local schools. Anyone with information on this threat is being asked to contact Manatee County Crime Stoppers at the number listed on your screen. That number is 866-634-TIPS. In other news tonight, there could soon be some changes to city parks in Palmetto. A proposed ordinance is now on the table that would ban drones, among other things. ABC7's Rick Adams has more tonight from Lamb Park in Palmetto.
Well, this ban would affect parks like this one and include drones, remote control cars, and exotic pets. It's something that could go into effect before the end of the month.
If it's for the best of the people here at the park, then I think that's what needs to be done.
That's Jordan Kipp's reaction to a possible ban on drones, remote control cars, and exotic pets such as snakes from city parks in Palmetto. Kipp was enjoying a little picnic in Sutton Park on Friday with her 1-year-old son, Luca. She does have mixed feelings about this proposed ordinance, but safety in the park is always a big concern.
If it interfered or if people weren't being responsible, then obviously I wouldn't want something like that around.
For Palmetto resident Alexandra Aragon, she visits the parks with her 2-year-old son a few times a week. She tells us that she's not happy about this proposed ban.
I don't think it's fair. Drones are sold in Walmart in Palmetto, so if they're going to ban that, they should stop selling it in Palmetto.
Palmetto's police chief says they haven't really had too many issues related to drones, remote control cars, or exotic pets in their parks. He tells us it's just the city's way of stepping ahead of any potential problems and updating an ordinance that hasn't been touched since 1975.
Our existing park ordinances now really don't regulate or really don't speak to what kind of behavior is acceptable and not. I think when they were written, they probably didn't have issues with people getting along in the park.
If this ordinance does get adopted, penalties for those who don't obey the law would initially include a warning, then a citation, and even a possible ban from the parks. And a second reading on this ordinance is expected to take place on February 26th. That's when city commissioners are expected to make this official. Reporting from Palmetto, I'm Rick Adams, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Okay, thank you so much, Rick. Well, a beautiful weekend ahead. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan for a look at our first alert forecast. Bob?
Well, we are looking at a pretty nice weekend, although we may see some fog problems for mariners out there. Sea fog expected to develop. Right now, that hasn't happened. It's 64 degrees right now. It's nice out there, and the dew point temperature right at the same. So we get 100% humidity, meaning that fog is slowly starting to develop, and winds are out of the east-southeast, very light at 3 miles an hour. The pressure continues to remain high at 3021. However, that pressure has been weakening just a little bit compared to yesterday, as it's getting bumped by a little bit of a cold front. That cold front not doing a whole lot, though, in terms of going to be changing our weather. Temperatures currently very mild in Miami and Key West, 73 degrees in both those cities, 69 now in Orlando, 65 degrees now in Jacksonville. And as far as that wind and fog forecast goes, you'll see that kind of rolling on in tomorrow, and it could be rather thick in some areas, so keep that in mind, especially if you plan on boating tomorrow, and also travelers along I-75 could be rather thick there. We should see a decent day, though, tomorrow. Lots of sunshine in the forecast, as well as warm temperatures. More on that coming up in a few minutes. Jacqueline?
Okay, thank you so much, Bob. A Sarasota man facing charges tonight after Sarasota police uncovered several different types of drugs at his home. Police executing a search warrant at Giovanni Fallo's residence on Bellflower Street in Sarasota on Wednesday. That's where they found Xanax, marijuana, Viagra, and paraphernalia that tested positive for cocaine. Detectives say they were first alerted to Fallo after several complaints from neighbors. A proposal that would make it easier for people with criminal backgrounds to get professional licenses in the state is moving forward in Tallahassee. The House Appropriations Committee this week approving a measure that would change the way a job applicant's criminal history is taken into consideration for jobs as cosmetologists, certified nursing assistants, barbers, and some construction contracting licenses. Under the proposal, a person would be allowed to apply for one of these licenses while under incarceration or supervision. Additionally, the time an agency may consider criminal history an impairment to licensure would be reduced.
It helps individuals who are coming out of correction system to obtain occupational licenses that helps facilitate their job outlook, helps, I'm going to say, I always have a problem with this word recidivism at 9 o'clock in the morning, helps reduce recidivism, keeps them off welfare, and allows them to become productive members, which is I know that we all want.
That legislation must pass one more committee in the House before it's ready for discussion by the full chamber. A 52-year-old Venice woman is charged with animal cruelty after deputies found 3 crated dogs living among piles of trash and feces. Sarasota County Sheriff's deputies first responded to a home on Sandalwood Drive for a welfare check after someone reported the front door to the home was left open. Deputies say they heard whining noises coming from inside the home and saw mounds of debris stacked from the floor to the ceiling. Deputies say the noises were coming from 3 buried pet carriers where the animals sat among urine and feces without access to food or water. A veterinarian says 2 of the dogs were so severely neglected they both had matted fur, which caused one to be unable to see or hear. Sarasota County Sheriff's Office Animal Services says the dogs were removed from the residence and are now in better hands.
All 3 dogs have been adopted. One was adopted out of the facility here, and the other 2 were transferred out to one of our rescue partners, and both have been adopted at this point.
Cornelia Cook is charged with felony aggravated animal cruelty, confinement without wholesome food or water, and misdemeanor cruelty to animals. Despite a judge ruling against Petland's claim that Sarasota County's puppy mill ordinance is unconstitutional, the battle to continue the retail sale of pets could be far from over. Earlier this week, Judge Frederick Mercurio ruled Petland does not have a constitutionally protected interest to sell live cats and dogs, upholding Sarasota County's ordinance to ban retailers from selling those animals. But attorney Morgan Bentley, who represents Sarasota in Defense of Animals, the group who pushed for the ordinance, says the judge did strike down the law's exception for hobby breeders, and he expects Petland to appeal, which could stall the county's enforcement even longer.
It's at least 8 months. I would think you're looking more like a year to maybe 18 months before there's finally a ruling.
I'm confident that the ordinance will be upheld because it's legal, and they could tie it up in the courts only for so long before it has to come to an end.
Petland's owner, Brad Parker, did not respond to requests for comment today. At the time the ordinance was passed, Parker said it would put his store on Fruitville Road out of business. Well, when it comes to reporting, sometimes you go out to find the story, and other times that story comes to you. The latter could be said today when a car hit a fence and went into a retention pond right across the street from us here at ABC7. Sarasota police arriving on scene to find that the driver of that vehicle had run off. Police later questioning two men who appeared at the scene as the tow truck pulled the vehicle out of the pond. That's when one of those two men tried to get into the car and then drive away. He was later handcuffed and taken into custody. Straight ahead, Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with your first alert forecast, plus a look at drivers' concerns with the additions of two new roundabouts coming soon to Sarasota, and a break in the investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential election.
It's an investigation that hits so close to home.
They are really drug dealers in white coats.
You'll want to see if your doctor is on the list.
If he's not here, who's writing his prescription?
Licensed to pill. An ABC7 investigation Monday at 6.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Our overall experience working with California Closets was phenomenal.
Calm, reassuring.
Through happenstance, we ended up paired with our designer, Jen. She was someone who not only was patient, someone who was professional. She's become extended family.
She had great insight to help direct me towards those things that could make our dreams come true.
We are the Greens, and this is our California Closet story.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
We all love our kids and want what's best for them. You have the power to help your kids learn to succeed in life every day. When you promote a love for learning at home, children build the skills they need to be ready for school. You can be their everyday hero. It's easy. Just text Everyday Hero to 77453 for simple learning tips.
Alex Karras Lincoln's 40th anniversary sale. Drive a brand new 2018 Lincoln MKC for $279 per month or the Lincoln MKZ for $299 per month. We have a great selection of certified pre-owned Lincolns. These vehicles have warranties up to 100,000 miles and come with complimentary roadside assistance. Alex Karras Lincoln, where our mission statement is consistent commitment. Every client, every time. Located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
The Florida Department of Transportation is building 2 new roundabouts on US 41 at the intersections of 10th Street and 14th Street. A traffic shift for both the northbound and southbound lanes are now in effect. Drivers heading in either directions are not able to make a left turn between 10th and 14th Streets, which includes turning left into Whitaker Gateway Park. Drivers will also see temporary stoplights at the intersection of 41 and 14th Street. A temporary detour route will also go into effect later this year, and no through traffic will be permitted on 12th, 13th, 14th, or 15th Streets. Traffic is expected to flow much smoother once that project is complete.
It's been analyzed and it should actually ease the flow of traffic through this area. It might slow down some of the speeds, but your overall travel time will actually be reduced.
The Florida Department of Transportation is planning to host a public meeting in early March at the Van Wezel where you can get more information and ask any questions you may have about this project. The construction of the 2 roundabouts will cost $12.5 million and it's expected to be complete by spring of 2020. Well, Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan joining us now. And Bob, a lot of events here on the Sun Coast this weekend and some nice weather for it, hopefully, too.
I mean, it was just absolutely outstanding downtown. I mean, you couldn't ask for better weather here in February. It was more like late March. We are looking at gorgeous weather, too, to continue on for Thunder on the Bay. And we'll look for great weather for Cortez as well. The Cortez Seafood Festival taking place. And get a look at this. This was happening at Robinson Preserve Mosaic Center. Nature Science and Center there. They're opening up 150 acres. There were 200 people on hand to open that up tonight. Robinson Preserve in Northwest Bradenton. Richard Marr getting this on Siesta Key. Another great shot. Look how calm conditions are out there on the waters. If you have boating planned this weekend, no problems as far as weather goes, with the exception of a little bit of fog in the morning, but that should burn off rather quickly, and we should see decent weather throughout most of the day, both on Saturday and Sunday. So we're in store for some delightful weather. I know a lot of people are down visiting right now, and things are looking pretty good. Sea fog rolling in, a warm weekend ahead. The temperature and the dew point are already together, and that means a good deal of, at least a good chance for more fog to develop overnight. And no big changes are in store over the next 7 days. You'll see that in the 7-day forecast, as we are anticipating high pressure to dominate our weather, both in the upper levels of the atmosphere and at the surface. Now, satellite and radar shows this frontal boundary, as they have been, weakening as they push toward the state. Now, this front will continue to move into North Florida tomorrow. Most of the energy, though, is moving from the west to the east, and with that frontal boundary not getting much push from north to south, we are not anticipating any cooler weather here anytime soon. 64 degrees right now. It's pretty comfortable out there. The humidity at 100%. That's what happens when the dew point and the temperature reach each other. And east to southeast winds now very light at 3. The pressure 30-21. That's way up there. 77 the high today at the Sarasota Bradenton Airport, well above the average of 73. Current fog conditions projected by forecast models suggesting the sea fog is already starting to develop out there. We're getting a little bit of a haze and a little bit of the fog starting to develop here along the immediate west coast of Florida, and the forecast does call for that to continue throughout the overnight hours and kind of thickening up a bit just prior to sunrise tomorrow. And then it should burn off. All of it should get out of here by 10 o'clock in the morning. If everything goes as planned, that should be revealing partly cloudy skies for us throughout most of the day on Saturday. Temperatures warm statewide. 69 in Pensacola right now. It's 73 in Key West, 73 as well into Miami. And temperatures currently into the upper 60s from Bradenton to Cortez, Sarasota, Venice, Inglewood, all into the upper 60s there, as well as Arcadia and Wauchula. The Gulf water temperature 73 degrees. Now the futurecast is indicating that tomorrow morning that fog will still be hanging out there in the Gulf. And then notice what happens. Here comes the front, and just a thin line of showers anticipated on Sunday morning. There's a chance for a few isolated showers here, but that rain chance less than 20%. And then we'll see again the same situation taking place, it looks like, on Sunday morning. Well, satellite and radar imagery showing a west to east flow that's called a zonal flow. There's no meridional flow, meaning that we're not seeing the big drop of that cold air heading our way, but we are seeing that over the northern plains and the northern Rockies. As far as the forecast goes, we are not anticipating any rainfall here. It looks like our rain chance is staying less than 20% right through the next 7 days. Now, a winter storm will again be a problem for Ohio, Indiana, Michigan, all the way through New York and Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine over the weekend. So they're getting their fair share of snow up in the Northeast, where some of the ski resorts are happy about that in Vermont. For the fog tomorrow, that'll be the biggest problem for boaters. Seas running less than 2 feet, mostly smooth on the bays and inland waters. The forecast, look at this, temperatures into the mid-80s all the way through the next 7 days. Low temperatures into the mid-60s, well above average here in February. Jacqueline?
Okay, thank you so much, Bob. A major indictment unfolding today in the Russia investigation. 13 Russian nationals and 3 Russian companies now accused of a massive effort to meddle in the election. The indictment, signed by special counsel Robert Mueller, claiming Russian agents were posing as Americans. Their aim to help Donald Trump's campaign and damage Hillary Clinton's. Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein making the announcement, saying that the allegations do not point to any Americans as willing participants.
The nature of the scheme was that the defendants took extraordinary steps to make it appear that they were ordinary American political activists.
The indictment claims the Russians posed as American citizens, operated social media accounts aimed at U.S. audiences, and set up rallies around the U.S., including in election battleground states like here in Florida. A Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman has called the indictments absurd. And as lawmakers work on the state's budget, the Senate matching the House and offering $76 million for state tourism marketing next year. Senate President Joe Negron says the Senate has boosted funding for Visit Florida from an initial $50 million proposal after receiving greater tax revenue projections last week.
The Senate will be increasing the line item for Visit Florida to $76 million to fund that, and that really reflects the Senate's continual support of not only Visit Florida, but of funding for that agency.
At $76 million, funding for the public-private Visit Florida would remain the same as during the current fiscal year. But Governor Rick Scott has sought an increase to $100 million for the next fiscal year. Well, stay with us. We have sports coming up next.
If you watch this, it would mean a lot to me. There's nothing sadder, and I like to think about this sometimes, than people like going home after not winning the Oscar and taking off their clothes and finding that acceptance speech. And I always imagine what a great coffee table book that would be. Just
So Matt told me to meet him at 7 a.m. sharp right here. It is now 7:01 a.m. You think Matt will leave without me? Hey, is Matt here?
Long con.
Long gone.
Just missed him.
Just missed him.
All done.
Mr. Sparky guarantees they're on time and the repair is free, so chop chop.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Matt, you started without me.
I finished without you, too.
Thousands of award-winning Honda SUVs are on sale from $189 a month during the Honda President's Day sales event. You've got to see these SUVs. Get a surprisingly spacious 2018 HR-V, $189 a month, or step up to Pilot for $289 a month with available seating for 8. Plus, we have Motor Trend's SUV of the Year, the 2018 CR-V, and Ridgeline, a Car and Driver's 10 Best. All on sale for up to $38.05, less than the competition at your local Honda dealer.
It's time to take a road trip.
Alabama's got 100 road trips, and some of the best are music to your ears, like the Alabama Music Hall of Fame. Or head over to Muscle Shoals and Fame Studios. Are you a star yet?
My mama thinks so.
Or, if that's your stomach I hear grumbling, our barbecue is almost a religious experience. Food good here?
Best in the country.
Alabama's got 100 road trips.
Which one you gonna take?
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you.
Yeah.
It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
My first job was in sports, and I was so thrilled just to be working in this business. I simply love covering this area. It has been my home for more than 40 years, and now it's wonderful that I can raise my family here as well. I'm Scott Dennis, and I'm here for you.
Now, sports.
Earlier today, current and former Orioles players visited Oak Park School in Sarasota to help conduct a session of the 5-week Orioles Health and Fitness Challenge. Launched in 2016 in partnership with HealthFit, the program encourages healthy lifestyles among middle school-aged children in Sarasota County. More than 4,500 students are participating in that program. Students learn about the importance of physical fitness, healthy eating, and tobacco-free living while receiving fun Orioles-themed rewards. Well, NBA All-Star Weekend getting underway tonight with an NBA All-Star Celebrity Game featuring some of the biggest names in entertainment. But those festivities culminate in Sunday's big game, led by opposing team captains LeBron James and Steph Curry. The NBA All-Star Game takes place Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And Tiger Woods will return to the Honda Classic in Palm Beach Garden, Florida next week. Woods playing in this week's Genesis Open at Riviera. This will be the first time Woods has competed in back-to-back tournaments on his most recent comeback. Woods last played the Honda in 2014, a month before undergoing his first back surgery. He withdrew after playing 13 holes in the final round, citing back spasms. That's a look at sports. We'll have tonight's winning lotto numbers when we come back.
My California Closets designer is a rock star. She was able to design the most beautiful space for me. When I turn the lights on, it's breathtaking. La! It's just a little slice of organized heaven. The California Closet team was so professional, so reliable. It was seriously a dream come true. My name is Jill, and this is my California Closet story.
SRQ Performance Parts provides parts and accessories from over 300 manufacturers, so you can get that new manifold, carburetor, gasket, bolt kit, or nitrous oxide system fast. We'll help you beat the competition. Call or visit SRQ Performance Parts online today for all your high-performance parts and advice.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
We all love our kids and want what's best for them. You have the power to help your kids learn to succeed in life every day. When you promote a love for learning at home, children build the skills they need to be ready for school. You can be their everyday hero. It's easy. Just text Everyday Hero to 77453 for simple learning tips.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-652-3012. That's 1-800-652-3012. Call now, 1-800-652-3012. For a free brochure, call 1-800-652-3012.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining. The Florida Lottery winning numbers are sponsored by Frontier Fios.
2018 is the year of the dog in the Chinese zodiac, and it kicked off today in San Francisco's Chinatown with fireworks. Onlookers were also treated to a brand new 288-foot, 44-section dragon. The Chinese New Year is also the beginning of the lunar year, and begins on a different year every day. The dog is part of a 12-year cycle of animals that make up the Chinese zodiac. Always great to see some of those videos that come out of the Chinese New Year celebrations, as you can see the dragon there.
Yeah, and I remember, you know, the Year of the Cat. There used to be a song years ago when I was growing up. Year of the Cats, the Year of the Monkey, and all sorts of different, as you said, a bunch of them. We are looking at a good weekend ahead with just a little bit of fog around, but it should be pretty nice and warm.
Okay, thank you so much, Bob, and thank you all for joining us. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.